On the property show, we have long been campaigning for the Aravallis in NCR to remain protected. Now we learn the Haryana government is bent on declaring just a 1 kilometer buffer zone around its side of the Aravallis. This blunts the contiguity of Haryana's Aravallis with Delhi's Asola Bhati Aravalli Reserve, from where we are presenting today's Citizen's Voice. I'm here at the Asola Bhati Sanctuary, which is an Aravalli forest that enjoys protected status in Delhi. But just a few minutes away in Haryana, the Aravalli forests are fast shrinking. And experts have begun to warn that we are playing with our future. Neha, I want to begin with you. You work a lot on the policy issues of the Aravalli forests in NCR. Just how has the policy manipulations playing out on this region?
Now today, this is the last sanctuary that Delhi has. It's the only sanctuary that Delhi has. So if we have a very hard edge for the sanctuary, if we have all kinds of extractive things or polluting things happening right outside the sanctuary, it doesn't serve the purpose. Haryana has suggested that they'll only have a 1 kilometer eco-sensitive area, which is very small because it cuts off many important places from Asola sanctuary. So you have Mangar forest, you have Damdama lake, you have Bhadkal lake. These are all areas within the landscape of Aravallis. It's a geological area, it's an important area for animals, it's an important area for cleaning our air. But if we have such a small buffer zone, we really run the risk of the sanctuary not being able to perform its ecosystem services.
We have attended a meeting last Friday in Chandigarh where we have emphasized that we will not take the reduction of our eco-sensitive zones. Not even 1 inch are we ready to give. In fact, we want to fight and take back what has gone also. From Asola to Damdama, it's a 17 kilometer beautiful long belt. It's 150 square kilometers, and we don't want to give an inch of that. We want to save and preserve all of it. And I also want to fight. Haryana is a state with just 3.5% of its area in forest. That is miserable. That is beyond miserable. We need to increase this to 10%.
Kaustav, what town planners and the land grabbers would like us to believe is that this is a barren area. There's nothing much happening, just some barren shrubs. But how rich is this area you were telling me before?
Oh yes, I think this area is one of the most incredible areas I've been to, so close to a very densely populated city. And we're talking about an area which is between these 3 big sub-cities of Delhi NCR. We're talking Gurgaon, Faridabad and New Delhi. And right between these we have most likely a healthy population of leopards, because if you take into consideration the amount of road kills that have happened in the last 1 year only, if you take into consideration the number of pictures people have taken next to, for example, a stud farm in Gurgaon, or the ones that we have been able to take on camera traps, it shows quite a few leopards. I was able to identify at least 3 or 4 different leopards based on the 5-6 photographs that we got.
Dr. Kaustubh has just now mentioned about leopard. Yes, I have, of course, photographed the pug marks. I have photographed striped hyena along with the cubs. That indicates that, yes, they are breeding here. And if we lose because of these policy makers, this pristine forest, the only, living example of the rich ecosystem and wildlife sanctuary of Delhi, then Delhi and NCR is going to lose so much in future, which you can't fathom at present.
We've had, the Delhi government talking a lot about air pollution because we are all choking. I mean, everybody is coughing, everybody is sick, respiratory diseases have gone up. And now we're looking at what China is doing in terms of the odd-even formula. Maybe one day we'll be looking at having bottled air also in the way China does. And what would be the cheapest way, the most effective way to have clean air? It is actually having more trees. It's actually having not just trees on the side of the road, but actually a living ecosystem which performs much more greater ecosystem services. We are setting up air purifiers in our homes today, but that's also a very myopic kind of knee-jerk response. The only way out is to actually preserve what we have.
The take-home message from here is that it is a good investment to invest in maintaining and preserving the natural ecosystems. It is a bad investment to get rid of them for any sort of construction or infrastructure, as long as it's not properly, carefully planned. We need to make sure that the planning takes into consideration the catchment areas, takes into the consideration the flooding runoffs, takes into consideration the ecosystem services that Neha and Amin both mentioned about.
Chennai flooded not because of the rains that happened. It flooded because their marsh areas and their water recharge zones have all been constructed upon. From 400 acres of marshy land around Chennai, there is only 4 acres left. And that's exactly what we are doing to the Aravallis. If you don't have land and forest and marshes around you, you are going to die. Your city is not going to survive. How many billions have we lost in Chennai with one stroke of nature? Remember, nature is way more powerful than you or me. She will find her way and she will destroy us if we mess with her any further. So it's time to take stock, time to wake up, and time to get into action, and every citizen has to fight for this now.
So these are citizens directly speaking out to the government, directly speaking out to you as a fellow citizen that it's time to consider the Aravallis in NCR not just as environment activism but as an investment in our future. With camera person AJ Joseph, Vasudha Sharma, NDTV.